We have identity pieces. We think things about ourselves. I'm the guy who lights up a room. I'm the guy who fixes problems. I'm the guy who takes care of those who can't take care of themselves. Like whatever that identity piece is, we will constantly look to fulfill the identity piece that we think we are. Meaning we're going to find things to, we talked about this, I don't know if you stepped out before Michael got to this part last night. We talked a lot about this last night with Michael. He identifies as the guy like who has challenges, right? Like I overcome challenges and that gives me significance is what he said. So I wonder if there's this, because this identity piece for you around the problem solver is so attached and you're so committed to it, then in order to be Chris, you need challenges. You need problems to solve. Because otherwise, who the fuck are you? If your identity is about solving problems, then who are you when there's no problem?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sitting here consciously being like, I enjoy it or anything, but there could be, I think that exists in some way.
Yeah. Well, it's also, I think it's important to notice that we don't sit here and consciously think about our identity either, right? We're not sitting here and like at any given moment like, who am I? Who am I? We just kind of have this idea, and then we act accordingly based off of that, whether it's conscious or not. So if at any moment I stopped you and I was like, tell me about you, who are you? Somewhere in that, you think of yourself as a guy who like, I solve problems, when I think of my family specifically, I'm the guy that mediates, I'm the guy that takes the problem and makes it a lot cooler. That's a part of who you think you are. So if we think we are that, then we need the gas to our motion, meaning we need things to come into our lives that allow us to be who we are. And if you're the problem solver, you need the problems. That's the gas to the problem solver. Now we're in a question of identity. And is that the identity you want to hold? Is that the identity you want to put attention on? Because if you don't want problems coming in like they're coming in, like you rather have solutions coming in. Yeah. So a lot of times what we do is we keep acting on the same habits and patterns. That we fucking do this shit all the time where it's like we want our lives to move forward, but we just keep thinking the same thoughts about who we are and about what our life is about, and just the same shit on repeat, but we ask for different. We got to get to a new level of consciousness. The things that we see are the things that we are. So if we are angry, we see shit that makes us angry. If we are joyful, we're like, oh my God, there's a halo around my head on the grass. Like we see that stuff. So I was saying to this girl last night, it's actually a great example. She had cancer, and then she's been on anti-anxiety medication for like 7 years. Now she wants to get pregnant, and she can't get off the medication because every time she does, she's really scared that she's going to go like into turmoil thoughts, but she can't get pregnant with the medication. So it's like a super intense thing. And she said, for the first time, she said, I've been in therapy for 10 years. For the first time, I feel hopeful, like through this. She was like, in the beginning, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? But then I started to feel hopeful because I realized that if I could just grow in managing my thoughts, it's just management of my thoughts, like create a new pattern of how I think, that I can create a whole new reality for myself. And I don't need medication to do that. She's like, Michael said, I have thoughts. I am not my thoughts. And she was like, that changed my entire world. And she said, I've heard that line before. But in the context of this room, something changed where I was like, I have these thoughts. It's not who I am, but I have them. And when I think them, that creates my reality. But if I'm not them, I can think new thoughts. I can say, this one doesn't work for me. This one, let's bring this one in. So she said, I notice I have negative thoughts. I notice I have thoughts of doom and gloom. And I believe that if I keep practicing this, that I can notice them and let them fade and move by like a cloud. And I can put my attention on other thoughts. So I say this all to say, it's a practice that we're learning to move out of the negativity. We're learning to move out of protection. We're moving out of scarcity. We're learning how to do that. That is selfishly why I did this, for me. Like this, I've told you guys 1,000 times, I love you and I love me more. This was for me. because I know that if I have the space to talk about this stuff with you guys, and you have the space to talk about it with me, and we hold each other accountable, I'm gonna create a new pattern. And I said to this chick last night, I'm like, for the first time in my life, I think, maybe since I was like, 7, 8, before any of this shit, trying to become something became a thing, I feel for the first time just good. Like naturally, like I naturally find the good. I naturally am looking for opportunity. I naturally, like everything's just naturally joyful. And I have to work to get to negative lately. Like I have to go out of my way to feel negative about something. That is very new for me.